Hi, I'm Allie with PotomacBeads.com, and today's Better Beater episode is going to be on some of the different metals. So we're going to go over the different metals and what the different wording or little letters in front of some of them mean, how some of them are produced, and what is the difference in the production and the quality. So, talking about metals, there's a lot of different questions that happen constantly on both our Facebook group as well as contacting the store, and general questions that people have about the difference in metals. I thought I would do a nice kind of synopsis of what are the different metals. Obviously, you're going to get some different color and different variation when some of the things are listed as certain colors or certain finishes, but I wanted to go over them. The most important thing that you want to remember is generally you're getting what you pay for. I'm going to start out actually with something that most of you are going to be familiar with, and this is stainless steel. So these are stainless steel ear wires, surgical steel, and the reason that I brought these into the frame is to show you that these are a great option if you're doing craft fairs or if you're selling your jewelry and you don't want to put the money into a sterling silver pair of earrings. I would recommend using the surgical steel. That way you don't have anyone that's going to have some ear allergies to have a problem with your designs. Also, someone that has newly pierced ears, like my daughter, I'm going to give her the surgical steel because I don't know yet if the actual metals will affect her ears. So you want to stay away from some of the platings if you are going to be selling your earrings, and I would opt for surgical steel in that nice color if you are going for kind of a silver look. So that's going to be your surgical steel. From there, I wanted to go to kind of an antique silver or a base metal. These are some coiled ends. And a lot of times the different platings or base metal, there's really kind of no standard for them. So you're going to have a bright silver plating and then an antique silver plating. The AS is generally going to stand for antique silver. SP is going to stand for silver plated. The reason I am doing a lot of findings is to show you kind of those differences and what I would use in what situations. Because there's not a standard for the different platings, that's where it kind of gets a little bit tricky to decide which to go for, sterling silver or pewter or Zamak or rhodium plated. So keep that in mind. Again, a lot of times you're kind of getting what you pay for. With the antique silver, the AS, it's going to look like a darkened silver or more of a kind of Bali style silver. And there is the base metal, which is going to be kind of a grouping of random metals to get to the color that you want. When they do a silver plating on it, it gets that nice bright silver coating that is going to be coated over top of a base metal. This coating sometimes can last forever, and you'll have it other times with different coatings. You may notice that it comes off pretty quickly. We get all of our metals, our plated metals in the USA, and we like that because they have a higher quality and a higher standard for doing that plating, and we've had really good luck with some of those different platings. Going on then from some of those platings, we have other silver options. The one is going to be an antique silver plating over Zamak. So Zamak is a material that we have a lot of our Potomac findings in, and it's a nice bright silver, and then a lot of times they coat over it. But the Zamak itself is kind of a mixture of metals, and this has the antique silver coating over top of that. This is an awesome coating. I haven't had any trouble with it coming off or with it chipping. In the intro video, actually my earrings are done with them as well, kind of showing those different metals. And these antique silver, and then obviously Zamak can be coated with different coatings since we have the two hold spacer bezels in different coatings. But the Zamak is going to be a nice base, nicer than just a base metal, and the platings and the coatings hang onto that and grip onto that really, really, really well. From there, I wanted to show you some pewter. So pewter, a lot of times people are hesitant to it because they assume that it is lead heavy. Pewter now, especially within the United States, cannot be imported with super high lead content, so most of the pewter, and the pewter we carry, is going to be lead free. Pewter is a great alternative to a plating because it is going to keep and stay the color that it is. The only thing with pewter is it sometimes gets heavy. So if you have something that you're doing a delicate piece, the pewter might seem a little bit on the heavy side. Pewter is not going to be nearly as bright of a silver as, say, a sterling silver would be. It's going to have a little bit of a darker effect. Not quite as dark as the gunmetal or surgical steel, but still a little bit darker, almost in that Bali style. There's a lot of findings that are available in pewter and head pins that give a great coloring and a great inexpensive option to that silver color. And you don't have to worry about it because because it's going to stay that colored coating. While we're talking about the coatings too, there is also the darker, which is going to be a gunmetal. The gunmetal is a gunmetal or a blackened coating that is going to be done over base metal. So we have a number of different things. We also have some Zamak that has the gunmetal coating on top of it, and that GM is going to stand for gunmetal. Going in then to some of the other silver colors. We have sterling silver. So sterling silver, I brought kind of a more expensive hoop pair just to show you kind of a cost difference. This is one of the most expensive ear wires that we have, but to show you that kind of bright silver. Yes, sterling silver has a great quality, and it is a great option for you, especially if you have people with ear allergies and you're working with ear wires. Sterling silver, however, a lot of people will get concerned that they want a metal that doesn't tarnish. Sterling silver is wonderful, but it definitely will tarnish. By tarnishing, I mean it gets that blackened look and kind of has a dirty look, almost going to that pewter color. You can take a polishing cloth and polish that up nicely. The other option when you're working with sterling silver is to actually go in and keep it in a plastic bag. So even if you take your ear wires out, put it in a plastic bag. That way the air and the salt air in the air, especially if you're near our Ocean City location, or just the air in general, is going to tarnish it. Actually, the more that you wear the sterling silver, the less it's going to tarnish, because your body's natural oils are going to prevent that from tarnishing. So sterling silver has its positives and negatives, that it is on the expensive side. It does tarnish, but that silver color can easily be restored. Another thing that we have a lot of is we have these beautiful, beautiful clasp garden clasps. Clasp garden clasps are super, super, super plated with rhodium. So they have a high quality base metal, and then they are plated, if they're in the silver color, with high quality rhodium plating. This is a lot of times what rings are going to be coated as, the white gold, and it has that quality that stays on for a very, very long time. The clasp garden clasps are known for their quality and known for their ability to stay the coloring that they are, so you will not have a problem with the clasp garden clasps with that rhodium brilliant, beautiful color. It is going to be much more rhodium colored. It's going to be much more closer to the sterling silver. Also, the clasp garden clasps do come in the gold plating, and they are 24 karat gold plated along with the Swarovski crystals that they use in them when they do have that gold coloring. Going then into some of the more gold tones and the copper tones, I wanted to show you kind of the difference in those metals as well. And keep in mind, all of these metals too are going to react differently to different skin tones and different wearability. So if you're wearing it in the ocean, if you're wearing it as you kind of are sweating, it's going to change, and it's going to change the look and kind of the coating of some of these products. Not all, but some will change. Keep in mind, like I said in the beginning of the video, you kind of get what you pay for. So I touched on a little bit the actual clasp garden clasps that have that 24 karat gold plating on them. That's going to be just like that rhodium plated, super high quality, and they stay to that finish. In addition to that, there is brass. So brass is actually going to be a pretty bright gold, and it has a decently bright gold finish. That the nice thing about brass is, just like pewter, it's going to stay its color. The bad thing about brass is that it's a little bit on the brittle side, so it tends to kind of break a little bit more easily. So the brass is going to be nice and bright. There's also the antique brass. The antique brass has the brass that has been basically tarnished, or a coating on top of it that has been added to get that darkened, almost vintage brass color or brass look. In addition to the bright brass and the antique brass, that AB, so you'll usually see brass will be listed, and then AB is going to stand for antique brass, you're going to have gold plating. So gold plating means different things depending on different companies. So the 24 karat gold is going to be the clasp garden style, that nice high quality. Other things, when it says gold plating, you're not exactly sure what the actual gold plating and what the gold content of the plating will be. There's a different amount of microns that are used on top of these different plated items, whether or not it's silver plated or gold plated, and there's not, again, an industry standard in order for it to be called gold or silver plated. For gold filled or silver filled, which I'll go over in a little bit, yes, but not for the plated. A lot of times the gold plating will be done on brass, and that way, even if that gold color comes off, you're still left with the brass coloring as you finish up. The other item that is gold that I wanted to touch on is gold filled. So gold filled refers to a generally brass core that is produced that is inside of what is cast in that gold color. So basically, if it was a crimp cover, the crimp cover shape would be done in gold, and then they're going to pump into the actual brass to stiffen it and harden it up. Unlike a plating where it's coated on top, the gold filled is going to have the exterior created first and then basically the brass pumped inside. Gold filled is going to have way more microns, or a coating, thicker coating of that gold. Generally, gold filled is going to be 14 karat gold filled, so it has a beautiful kind of soft gold color. Gold filled holds up really nicely and incredibly well because of that thick coating. Again, it is generally done on a brass, so if it happens to wear, and it's not going to chip off, it's going to kind of wear down, unlike a gold plated that might flake off. The gold filled will wear down and you're still left with that brass color. In all of my years beading, I have not had any issues with the gold filled. Likewise, there is silver filled, which is going to be done in the same process. It depends on the market. Sterling silver goes up or down, whether or not it is worth it to buy silver filled versus just buy the sterling silver. Currently the market, just buy the sterling silver if you are going to go for that silver and higher end. Also, there is rose gold filled. So just like that, the rose gold has a little bit of copper that is added to it to get that nice kind of goldeny pink color. And the rose gold filled is going to also have that gold brass pumped in the middle and then the rose gold on the outer exterior. Brighter copper is going to be either copper plated over a base metal, or you're going to have natural copper. The natural copper will tend to darken and have almost that tinged look, whereas the copper plated generally will stay bright in the copper color. When purchasing and making intelligent decisions on the metals, it's always great to ask questions. Go into forums like our Facebook group for beading and jewelry making, ask questions, see what people prefer, see what their choices are, and what decisions people make when they're doing and designing. The number one thing that I suggest is if you are going to take and make a design like this herringbone American flag, you're going to take a long time on it. Do not put an inexpensive clasp at the end of projects that take a while or that you have time that you've created to make. Whether it's a necklace or earrings or even a bracelet, keep in mind that you get generally what you pay for. You're going to have a higher quality project and a higher quality design look if you have a higher quality clasp or one that stays its color. Keep in mind with earrings, a lot of people have ear sensitivities, and you may want to go for the sterling silver, the gold filled, or the surgical steel if you want to be a little bit more price conscientious. Again, do a little research before buying or getting into some of these different findings to decide exactly what is right for you. As always, you can get any of these materials at PotomacBeads.com and PotomacBeads.eu. I'm happy to get them for you. And I'm happy to bring you these better beaders. If you have anything that you would like to see or questions that you have that you think would be great for another Better Beader episode, that you think this is a great thing that people should know or people might have questions on, we are an open community, and I'd love if you would comment below and let me know exactly what you are looking for and what your suggestions would be or what your opinions are on these different metals. You can always give a thumbs up to the video. That helps me to know whether or not you like the information that you're getting or whether or not you want it to be a little bit different. You can comment below. As always with these YouTube videos, if you would love to learn new designs, new techniques, and things about different materials to make you a better beader, you can subscribe to this YouTube channel, and then you'll get regular updates from us at Potomac Beads, and we will send them out to you when new videos become available. As always, if you need any materials, there's links in the different description box below that we're happy to get to you. And thanks so much for joining me on this next Better Beader episode. I always enjoy doing these because I really do feel like it's way more effective to make informed purchases and to build the quality of your project that you're working on. Thanks so much for joining me on this Better Beader about the different metals, and stay tuned for more.